All right, people. So today we will be creating our very first contact sheet. We are going to be using the photos we took for our aperture worksheet, our shutter speed worksheet, and our ISO worksheet for these. So I'm going to show you the step-by-step process about how you would upload those to the Mac computers and how you could use Bridge and Photoshop to create your contact sheet. All right. So, first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to plug in your SD card to your SD card converter. Now, you will know that that is plugged in and good to go because you should be able to open up your files and you should be able to see a drive right where it says locations. So I should be seeing something pop up just about now. And then you go in here just like you have your DCIM and your miscellaneous. All your photos should be in your DCIM. And then you're gonna go ahead and locate those photos. Okay, so I have my photos here. So I have my aperture photos as well as my ISO photos and then my shutter speed ones. So you can go ahead, select those. If I go ahead and make this smaller, we all should have made our DigiPhoto folders on our desktops. If you have not done that, you'll do that now by doing a right click, hitting new folder, and then it'll just be named DigiPhoto, and then you'll put your ID number so that people know that that is you. Okay, I already have mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put that in the trash. And then I can go ahead and open up this. Now there's a couple different ways you can display things. You can have thumbnails and it'll just show you all your thumbnail photos. You can have list setting. I don't really use this because I don't really, when I'm looking at my photos, I like to see the thumbnails. And then you have like your columns. I think we'll use columns for the most part for this class. So this is a good interface to have. And you want to go to desktop, your DigiPhoto folder, and then you can see what's in it here. So it's going from my larger folder into my smaller files, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna go over here and I'm going to select the photos that I want to bring into here. Now, I have some photos that I brought in here earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of those. By holding down my command key and then trashing them, okay? Drag and drop. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring over these pictures. Again, I could go ahead, I can put this in columns as well. And then I know that I want these 8, and you might have to go ahead and look at yours a little bit more. If you click on it, it'll expand it. I didn't mean to do that, but we can go ahead there. And I just want through that. I'm gonna go ahead and drop them over here. And then I have these photos, and that's all I really need to do for now. So that's just me organizing them from my SD card onto my files. Now, we could have done that in Bridge as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to organize things in Bridge, all right? So Bridge is an Adobe program that bridges your files into Adobe programs. For our purposes, it'll be Photoshop. So when you open up Bridge, and I already had it open, so it might look different, you'll probably see this. You'll see your drive for your computer, and then you'll also see your SD card if you have that plugged in. All right, so if you go into your DigiPhoto folder from here, it should be under desktop, just since those folders are on your desktop. You can now go ahead and see your picture types here. So if I go ahead and click on this, it'll show me my photo, and then I don't have to guess what my aperture was when I took these photos because I have my metadata right here. I can see all that information here. So I have my f-stop, my shutter speed, and then my ISO. all right there, okay? All right, so I can also hit Command plus and minus, and then I can make these smaller or larger depending on, you know, your own preferences. And so we are going to take these photos. So I've organized them here. You might have them in separate folders. I have them loose in here for right now, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to Command select my aperture, ISO, and my shutter speed photos. And you know what? Even before then, I'm forgetting a step. I need to go into each photo and I need to rename it, okay? So I can go ahead and I'm gonna click here. This is my smallest shutter speed, so I can go, or sorry, my smallest aperture. So I'm gonna go ahead and go A, and then, or you can even do F. You can do F and then your 5.6 here, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and name the rest of these as well as my ISO, and you know, I'll jump back for that. All right, so now I have renamed all my file types, so we can go ahead and see that here I have my f5.6, 8, 11, 16, my ISO 100, 400, 800, and 1600, and then for my shutter speed I just did SS 1 through 4. When you're naming your file types, it typically doesn't like when you do like dashes or anything like that, so it can be kind of sensitive about that. So I just did 1, which would be my 1/100, and then 4 being my 2 seconds, okay? So now what you're going to do is you need to select all of these photos together. So you can go ahead and drag and pull, or you can just hold down your command key and then press them all at once. Now that we've named them all, it's going to order them. It'll order things alphabetically and numerically, so everything will be in order, okay? And so what you're going to do now is you're going to go up to Tools, you're going to go to Photoshop, and then you're going to go ahead and hit Contact Sheet, and then that is going to prompt Bridge to open up Photoshop, and you can double check here that it says 12 items. And then you need to check a couple things on this little interface before you move on. So first of all, you want to make sure that you are in inches. You want it to be letter size, so that is width of 8 and then height of 11. 300 resolution is fine. Make sure that that says pixels per inch. Everything else you can leave as the default. And then it's going to ask you your rows and your columns, okay? So for rows and columns, we have 12 photos. We want to keep our aperture photos on a row, our shutter speed photos on a row, and then our ISO photos on a row. So we want to make sure that it's 4 columns and then 3 rows, okay? So once that stuff's all good, we can go over here and hit OK. And then Photoshop will begin to generate that for us, and we can go ahead and just wait for that. And then you will end up with something that looks like this, if I can get this out of the way. All right, and then there you have it. That is the start of your contact sheet, but we are not done there, okay? So the next thing that you need to do is you need to go in and label all of your photos with your metadata. So how that is going to work is you need to go ahead, and I already kind of have it started here. You're going to go ahead and do a split screen with Bridge and with Photoshop, and then you will go through your photos and click on one at a time, and then you're going to go ahead and look at this metadata listed right over here, okay? That's your metadata from your photo. When the file comes from your SD card into your computer, it travels with its metadata, so it's exposure triangle information. And then I'm gonna go ahead, zoom back out, and then once I'm in here, you can go over to your toolbar, and mine is a little bit edited here. Your window space is going to look like not this. So if I go over to my toolbar and I see my T. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. I'm gonna minimize these for now. And then you can see I have my text tool pulled up, okay? So you can pick your font up here. Move this so I can pick my font here. It'll give you all your samples. You can pick if it's bold. I would just leave it on regular. And then the size, I would say for the size, let's just keep it around like 14. Yeah, that should be fine. I want to change my font type. I'm just going to do Futura, and then you can go ahead and you can pick your color as well. I might need to expand my screen to get my color option back up. You can also pick it here. So if I want to do more of like a blue, pick something that's gonna be, you know, visible, okay? And then I can go ahead here and I can type in that metadata, and now I have a bunch of Photoshop things collapsed on the screen, so you shouldn't have that in yours. Alright, so I'm going to take this metadata, I'm going to come back over here, and then I will go ahead and enter that. So I have F 5.6 1/20, and then an ISO of 800. Okay, and then you can go over here to your move tool, or if you see right here, it will show you the keyboard people. So now you can see that I put my metadata on each of my photos here. And the last thing that I'm going to do is add one more text layer here, and then I can just go ahead and title this with my name, the project, so we can call this exposure triangle contact sheet. Go ahead, take that. You can use the alignment tools there to go ahead and center that. And then I'm gonna go ahead, go to File, Save As. You want to save it into your, if you go here, you can go ahead and look at your desktop, or you can find your DigiPhoto folder from there. So I'm gonna go ahead here, DigiPhoto, and then I can go ahead and just save it into my file here, and I'll go ahead and hit save. And then in order to turn this in, you need to go ahead and go to File, Export, Export As. You're gonna make sure that this says JPEG up here. If it doesn't, you can just go ahead to the pull down menu and pick something else. You are going to leave everything else as is. Once you have it in JPEG, it'll be good to go. You'll hit export, and then you don't want to just name it contact sheet, because other people are going to be using the computer, and if they just save it as contact sheet, it'll override yours. So make sure that you put your last name. You can do ET for exposure triangle, and then CS for contact sheet. So you can go ahead, if you want to add in some spacing just so it's easier to read, you can do your last name underscore ETCS for exposure triangle contact sheet, okay? And then make sure again you select your own folder to save this to, so it doesn't just save to a random spot, okay? So it's gonna, I know that right now this is gonna save into my DigiPhoto folder. I'll hit save, and then when you go into Google Classroom to submit it, you can find it in that location, okay? All right, let me know if you guys have any questions, and that is how to make your first contact sheet. Thanks, bye.